Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with a new Space Marine painting video. This time I'm turning my attention to none other than the Spacewolves. The character I've decided to go for is Ragnar Blackmane, a beautiful Primaris character for the Spacewolves. He's truly one of the nicest Primaris miniatures to come out as of yet, and I'm excited to show you guys how to paint him on this video here today. So stick around guys, enjoy the video. And here he is. I don't think anyone can doubt that Ragnar Blackmane is one of those models that got Primarisized, and they just nailed it. He is absolutely stunning. So I got him built up, sprayed black, and then sprayed grey sear. This makes a perfect base coat for all my contrasts, which I will start with, of course, Spacewolves Grey. I'm just going to apply this all over the armour of the model. Now, the majority of his back is hidden by cape, so be careful not to hit too much of that. It's actually not a lot of armor to get through, just the kind of the front bit from the middle of the waist, middle of the chest down, and his backpack arms. And this goes in really, really well and creates that perfect base coat for layering up those kind of sky blue, baby blue colors that Space Wolves armor are. Once the Space Wolves Grey is applied, we're going to go over to Skeleton Horde, and we're going to use this to base coat in his big cape. This is some sort of Fenrisian wolf or something that he has hunted down. For me, I'm a big fan of the younger characters in the Space Wolf range, so Ragnar Blackmane and Lucas the Trickster are my favorite too. So I'm delighted to be getting this guy painted up. From here, we're going to use Gulliman Flesh. This takes about 1 second to apply a base coat to his face, because obviously the complete rest of his body is completely covered in armor and furs. From here, it's over to Black Templar. Now, this is for all the soft seal parts of the armor. So anywhere where two of the armor panels meet, there should be this rigid kind of rubberized section. We're going to get those hit with the Black Templar. And then there's also the hilt of the sword, his hair, and a few other bits and pieces. Just have the box to hand, or like I like to do is have the website open, the Games Workshop website on him, and just use the 360 that they provide. Okay, next we're going to move over to Wildwood, and we're going to use this for all of the leather pouches that are on this model. So he's got a pistol holster, a small square poster probably for a magazine, and then he has two other ones on his other hip as well. One looks to be for a grenade, and I have no idea what the other one is for. It's just like a pouch of probably charms and stuff, knowing the Space Wolves. Flesh Tears Red was then used to base coat in. He's got this his armored belly section basically has a red trim around it. I'm not a big fan of it because it's the official way of doing it. I added it in. But if I was doing it myself, I'd probably just leave it the black or the blue for the armor. The red really belongs all over the inside of his wolf pelt. Be careful with this when you're applying it. You want to get on all the right bits, but you don't want to hit any of the fur. And because this is basically half of the cloak, this is something you will take your time with and try your best not to hit with it. As you can see, it makes quite the difference. After that, we're going to use a little bit of Iron Jaws Yellow, and this is just for the casing on his chain sword. He has a yellow chain sword. We're just going to use this to get a simple base coat on it. Iron Jaws Yellow is fast becoming one of my favorite yellow contrasts. Obviously, the new Imperial Fist Yellow is a god's paint, but trust me, give the Iron Jaws a shot. You'd be surprised at how versatile it actually is. Retributor Armor Gold was then used for all the gold sections of the miniature. Now obviously he has breaks in his armor panels with gold filigree and design inside of it, which you wouldn't have on a normal Space Marine. But then you have the normal parts like the trim on his shoulder pad, the two big wolf emblems on his vents of his backpack, the designs on his shoulder pad, and a few other bits and pieces. Just follow the model around and make sure you get all those bits that are gold with a coat of Retributor armor. Once all the gold is applied, it's time to move over to the lead belcher and do all the silver parts. This is mostly the chains around his neck. There is a chain running through his cape as well, the teeth of his chain sword, and a few other bits and pieces. Actually, not a lot on this model. It's mostly gold and blue, but the few bits there are, we will get with the silver. After all the gold and silver is applied, I think that's pretty much all of the base coats. We can finally get on to washing this miniature. So I'm going to throw a Seraphim Sepia shade over the entire model. Even the bits of rock that he is jumping off of, I'm going to hit it with that just to darken it down a little bit, give it a bit more of a dirty look. This will darken down everything quite well. It'll suit the furs, it'll suit the golds, silvers, and even the blue it's not going to do too bad a job on. So here it is with all of the shade applied. While it's drying, I'm going to throw some basing material on it as well. It's not going to be fully dry by the time I come back to it, so I'll have to finish basing it off a little bit later in the video. So next it's time for Rust Grey. So this is the by far the most tedious stage. It's going to take the most amount of time. You're going to want to use Rust Grey, which is a layer paint, but it's quite a bright blue, like sky blue, baby blue color. So it's not that strong. It's kind of like working with a white or a yellow or something. It's quite weak pigmented. So unfortunately with a paint job like this, you are going to require 2 coats of that color on the armor. Now with the first coat, you want to make sure you get complete coverage. You want to basically get a nice solid coat on. With the second coat, you just need to hit the raised areas and the kind of flatter panels that are more obvious. So bits behind the legs, back of the knees, or any of those kind of bits. You don't need to hit with the second coat, it's fine. It's all about the choosing where you need to paint for the second one, because it's basically acting like another highlight. So here it is with the first coat, and as you can see, a little bit streaky on some of the flatter areas. And we're going to take some time, work it up again with Rust Grey. And then layer the model up. As you can see, the difference that a second coat of Rust Grey is having on the armor, it's definitely pulling it more towards that color that Space Wolf armor is supposed to be. Obviously, this guy's a character. He stands out more, so you're going to put a little bit more TLC into him. The basic line infantry Space Wolves, you could probably get away with just that one layer of Rust Grey. It's just the more elite units and characters you would hit with the second coat. So after the second coat is applied, we definitely have that color of Space Wolf armor. We're going to cheat a little bit and use a very quick Tyrant Skull dry brush over the fur. And that's actually where I'm going to leave the fur. I had thought about adding a little bit more to it, but after the dry brush was complete, I really liked the end result. And I thought to myself, why would I bother messing with it? It seems to have given me the exact kind of wolf pelt tones that I was happy with. After that, we're going to go for corn red, and we're going to layer up all those bits we did flesh tears red. So once again, the trim on his gut plate, say that like he's an ogre or something. And then of course layering up his cloak. His cloak is absolutely gorgeous. It adds so much to this model. Like I said, Space Wolves are normally just baby blue and gold kind of color. They have some red and yellow on their shoulder pads, but this really just adds another dimension. And not only of color, but of movement. It shows that he is seriously charging forward and ready to engage in the fight. And his cloak is billowing behind him. After that, we're going to go for Mornfang Brown, and we are going to use this to layer up all of those leather pouches that we did. We're also going to use it to base coat all of the teeth on the miniature. I don't mean his actual teeth, I mean all of the kind of talons and teeth that are hanging off his bracelets and his necklaces hanging through his cloak. You'll basically have to play a little game of Where's Wally and try and find all those teeth and hit them with a little bit of brown. This means when we come back later on with a bit of Shafty Bone to highlight them, it'll be a very quick job. Ironbreaker was used to highlight both the gold and the silver parts of this miniature. If you guys have been following along with a lot of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of just using a nice bright silver to highlight both gold and silver parts at the end of a paint job. I think it ties the two metallic tones in together really well, and it looks really, really striking. And as you can see, you can do it quite quickly, as opposed to switching between gold and silver for each of the highlight stages. Uriel Yellow was used just to highlight the sword a little bit. It was a little bit kind of dull for me. And if you look at the picture of it, there's a lot of warmth to it. It's almost like there's like really deep yellows / oranges through that color. So I'm going to give it a quick coat of Uriel Yellow, and then I'm going to water down some of the Fugan Orange shade and apply that over the top of it just to get the tone that I want. For that though, I'm going to use Cadian Flesh Tone to add my first highlight to the face. Normally it would be the only highlight I do to a face, but like I said already, this is a character. He's big and bold and striking, and people will be looking at him, so spend a little bit more time on things like his face and his weapons, cloak. People will be looking at them. Okay, here is the Fugan Orange. Like I said, I actually added a touch of water to this to be really thin, and then just applied a quick coat across the yellow. Just add that warmth back into it. From here, we're going to go to Kislev Flesh for the second highlight on the skin. Once again, it's just all of the sharper points, tip of the nose, chin, cheekbones, forehead, that kind of thing. All of those recesses you're going to leave nice and shaded. The model is really starting to come together now. The Shapti bone was used to layer up all of those necklaces and charms and stuff all over the model. So all of the random things, including the claws on the pelt. At this point as well, I did use that Shapti bone and just highlight his teeth really quick. His actual teeth. Like I said, they're so small that you don't need to give them a lot of attention. Just a quick coat. Flesh Tear's red contrast was then used on all of the red gemstones. When I was doing the layering stage with the metallic earlier on, I just gave all of the gemstones a quick coat of bright silver, and then I can throw Flesh Tear's red contrast over the top of the gemstones, and that will finish them off beautifully. They're not going to stand out too much, they're just going to look really nice and ornate, and give us the final result, which is Ragnar Blackmane. Added some snow texture to the base, which I think is only right and fitting. And I cannot wait to bring you more of these characters in the coming weeks. And there we have it, guys. Ragnar Blackmane finished up nice and easy. Hopefully you guys will be able to follow along with this tutorial with absolutely no problems whatsoever and get your Space Wolves armies on the table. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give it a like. If for some crazy reason you're not already subscribed to my channel, it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button. It means very little to you, but it means a lot to me. And if you want to support me making this channel even bigger and crazier, there's links to things like my Patreon below, which will be getting a big rehaul in January. Overhaul even in January, so there has never been a better time to get involved. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.